Welcome to Spotlight Gulf Coast, a weekly showcase of people and events across South Mississippi. Spotlight Gulf Coast is partnered with William Carey University and sponsored by the IP Casino Resort and Spa, the Trenchard Scholarship Fund, and the Butch Ostelet Foundation.
Hi everyone, this is Todd Trenchard, Executive Director of the Baco Foundation of South Mississippi, welcoming you to another segment of Spotlight Gulf Coast right here on WXXV. Each week we're coming into your living room talking about what's going on all across our region, and we want to thank our sponsors for this generous opportunity. Well, it's getting a little bit hotter out there, and it means summertime, and it also means some great events that are coming up. And one of the first really big ones of the summer is going to be Make-A-Wish, the Martini Shakedown. And we always have a show with Make-A-Wish, and we have the head of the South Mississippi?
South Mississippi area, yes.
Of course, Shelly Moses. And Shelly, appreciate you coming on. We've done this now a few times.
A few times, yes, and I appreciate you always having me back.
I remember the first time I met you at the event, and you know, I'm always out there. I've been around a long time, and I was like, poor thing, she never stops. But that's how I look.
That's how we work, so you know.
All we're doing is going and putting out fires, and you know, sort of intrigued by it, have learned a lot about Make-A-Wish. Let's start with that before we get to the event, because we, you know, obviously want to talk about the event itself. But how long have you been with Make-A-Wish?
Longer than you can imagine. This October will be 24 years for me to be down here with Make-A-Wish.
24 years. That's
I know.
You and I are becoming, we're senior statesmen for sure. It takes a special person to do that, because when you're driven like we are, you want to make it better every year.
Absolutely.
And so the needs, and the better you do your job, the more people come forward.
No, it's like you said, it's kind of a win-win type of situation.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I feel blessed to be able to serve our community, especially our children that are, you know, dealing with critical illnesses. And so for me, it's just a passion to be able to know that I get up each morning and I'm able to make a difference.
What is I guess, the mission statement of Make-A-Wish as a whole?
So right now, if you were to look up our mission statement, it is together. Mm-hmm. We create life-changing wishes for children with critical illnesses. Okay,
and to do that, you have somebody that collects wishes and then vets?
So similar to that, yes. So we have a wish-granting person. Mm-hmm. And she takes referrals in. It could be from, you know, people in the medical field, from the kid themselves, from family. They refer a child that is, you know, diagnosed with a critical illness. It comes to us. At that point, their physician signs off on whether or not the child qualifies mm-hmm. for a wish. And then at that point, it goes through our medical review board to vet them. And once that all happens, then the magic kind of takes place. We go to our group of amazing wish granters that are out there in the community. Mm-hmm. They go forth, they interview the child, and another one interviews the parents to determine the child's true wish. And then we just really get busy and make it happen.
So with the bigger events like the Martini Shakedown, which is, I guess, is that exclusive to our area, or do they have?
It is, no. So this one's exclusive just to the Gulf Coast. Mm-hmm. We're the only one in the, well, I could say not even in the state, we're the only Mississippi chapter, Make-A-Wish chapter rather, that does a Martini Shakedown. Mm-hmm. We've had several people that have reached out and said, I don't know what you're doing, but it seems to be working for you. Can you give me pointers? And so I've been, you know, more than happy to share what we do with our other chapters, you know, throughout the nation. But right now, it's just strictly a Mississippi Gulf Coast kind of thing.
So in order to make your mission statement successful in this region that you're talking about, you obviously don't have an army of a staff. You use a lot of volunteers in the community.
We do. We could not survive without volunteers. You know that being a nonprofit. Mm-hmm. I mean, you can have a very small staff, and this fiscal year we were actually able to hire a full-time staff person, in addition to me, that strictly handles nothing but our wishes down here on the Gulf Coast now.
And that makes you a lot more effective to be able to go out and maybe sit down with people instead of always just putting out fires. And
it does. We make a great team. So. Mm-hmm.
So, and then you add some people that are passionate about the cause, and they may be doing certain things, some that are working, obviously, you know, on this event takes a lot of volunteers.
It takes an awful lot of volunteers to put on a big signature event, but it takes a lot of volunteers to grant the wishes. It takes a lot of volunteers for our golf tournament. It takes a lot of volunteers for our Cruise in the Coast fundraisers that we have. We're partnering up with them. It just takes a lot of people that actually care and are concerned about helping you and furthering your mission.
I know that, you know, anytime you have an event and you have something at the Beau Rivage, it's going to stand out. Because again, and it should, you know, the Beau is sort of your flagship gaming institution here on the coast, and you know, you know, I'm a big IP person, but we work together, and that's
Right.
what's good about gaming. Gaming down here, everybody's working together to meet a cause, and I love going to the Beau Rivage, and I love when the Beau Rivage comes over to IP, or when I go over to see, you know, some of the other casinos. How is that relationship? It's sort of unique that you would have.
we are very fortunate that we have such a great partnership with Beau Rivage. I mean, this will be our 20th year to actually have the event exclusively with them.
Right.
Obviously, you know, we were talking earlier that we've had some times off that we had to take with, you know, one thing or the other that, you know, throws you a curveball, but we've always been very loyal to them, and in turn, they've been very loyal to us, and
Yeah.
we definitely love it. But, you know, you touched on it. I mean, all of the other casino properties around here on the Gulf Coast, they don't say, well, you're going to be at the Beau Rivage, we're not going to support
No,
you. They're all phenomenal. We've got probably about 90% of the casinos right now that are supporting the Martini Shakedown coming up, which is great.
Now, we're going to have Missy Dombrowski on the next segment, and of course, Missy's that's been one of her strong passions since I've known her, you know, is pushing, you know, Make-A-Wish and, you know, getting us more and more involved. Some of the needs, though, are we certainly could expand the footprint. Obviously, Jackson County is, you know, still need to think of Pascagoula. Trying to come over here would
Right.
always be something that, you know, I think would be welcome. What other things could people do, or do y'all have like a think tank, a strategy session where you can sort of identify those things?
So we've had a lot of our kids recently that have kind of got outside the box. They haven't picked that normal Disney World button for their wish. This summer we've granted a wish for a generator for a kid, because it was going to be something that was a type of a comfort wish.
Right.
So we reached out to people in the community, and they responded and helped us, you know, what would have been a $40,000, $50,000 wish. Helped us definitely cut some corners,
Right.
but still be able to give the family and this child what they needed, with a top-of-the-line generator with the propane tank and everything.
Right.
So, you know, the community involvement and stuff like that is clutch. What we found is, because, you know, like you mentioned, Pascagoula area, we're starting what we're calling a Wish Wednesday, and it may not always be on Wednesdays, but we're going to some of the outlying communities. We will be in Gaucher in a couple of weeks, and just trying to be out there so we can, you know, tell everybody that's in the community that it's not just about kids in Gulfport or kids in Biloxi,
Right.
that it's kids that most of the time are living in your neighborhoods that you may not even realize,
Right.
and that you have the power to help make a difference in their lives, whether it's big or small.
I know that extra employee is going to help you be able to get out and meet more people like that.
100%.
We're going to take a short commercial break. We're going to come back. We're going to have Missy Dombrowski from the Beau Rivage joining us. We're talking about the Martini Shakedown and Make-A-Wish. So don't touch that remote. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone. We're talking about Make-A-Wish, and we've been joined by Missy Dombrowski. And Missy, welcome to TV Land. I know you look forward to this every year. I mean, you started thinking about it. Last time you got off, you said, please have me back, Todd.
That's exactly what I said, and thank you for having me back.
Of course, I was saying on the first segment, I think the first person I really met that was strong Make-A-Wish advocate was you, and from day one, you were pushing that, and I want to start with that. What makes a person passionate about a certain cause? And obviously, this is one that is very near to your heart.
I just like what Make-A-Wish stands for, the mission, what they do. When you're there and you see these kids get their wish granted, and when they're walking through the doors at BMW and find out they're going to Disney World, and they're just so excited.
Right.
And Make-A-Wish is a national organization that has been, 40 years now, I believe, Shelley, that
almost
Make-A-Wish,
45 years.
the organization was founded. And I remember seeing the movie Wishman and how it started. If no one's ever seen that movie, you need to see it. That really tells the story behind how Make-A-Wish started, with a little boy wanting to be, I think, a cop or a CHIPS, the police officer, right? And I just love it. And these kids, these very sick children, that if there's one thing they can have to look forward to, is their Make-A-Wish. And when it gets granted and they get that, whatever it is, whether it's Disney World, whether it's the generator,
right.
That child was very excited about it. We've modified, I believe, campers too for children. And it's just great. I love it. You're right, I am passionate about it. And as long as I'm living and breathing, Make-A-Wish, that's my organization.
Yeah, I know you got us involved, and we wanted to step up, and I just think it's awesome. I mean, it's a and just to see it over the last few years, the snowball effect of it's getting bigger and bigger, and you got some exciting auctions going off, and that's another thing. When people come, they want to be wild. They want to see something a little bit different, and y'all certainly always going to do that. I have so many of those little glowing Martini things at my house.
The glasses.
I did it one night. I had like about 30 of them, because I'll go around and pick them up.
You're not the only one.
But those type of things, just the little things that y'all have come up with. Let's talk about what can be expected, at the Martini Shakedown, because, it obviously a big event takes a lot of coordination, I'm sure.
It does. There's a lot of moving parts for sure. Of course, you'll have the exceptional food prepared by the Beau Rivage chef. You have magnificent martinis. But for those people that do not partake of alcohol, there's definitely non-alcoholic beverages available as well. We've got a new band this year. It's Voodoo Gumbo out of New Orleans, and they are absolutely excited to play for us, and we're going to bring a lot of energy. So there's food, there's drinks, there's dancing, and you mentioned of course the auction. We've got some amazing items. I'll put it to you this way. I cannot even go into my office because I can't sit down in a chair there. We've got so many items.
Right.
And we just moved into a larger office. So we're super excited about how our auction is looking, as well as our live auction. I mean, it's just...
Yeah, so you have a silent auction, but then also you're granting wishes, and that's
right. So I mean, even if you don't want to participate in the auction, if you come and you don't want to participate in the auction, there's definitely opportunities, because we do our campaign drive, which is funding wishes, and right now we've got a little over 20 kids just here on the Gulf Coast area that are in our wish pipeline. So if you say, how can I make a difference? Well, it doesn't matter. Obviously you love those large checks that come in and those big, huge donors, but we've had a lot of people in the community that have just reached out and said, I can't be there, or hey, can I buy a ticket and you give it to a Wish family to come?
right.
So we've had a lot of people that are like really reaching out and knowing that they can make a difference, even if they can't participate in the event.
I know one of the things y'all do really enjoy seeing, and I try to stress this at all the events we put on, but others, is getting an entire table to split and maybe put up $2,500. Each person put up $300.
Right.
They're not paying anything to come in. That's one of my pet peeves, because the corporation or whoever's sponsoring the table is paying, and those people sitting at the table, and that's a great idea, because it should be. If you're coming to an event like that, everybody should come knowing it's a fundraiser, spend $150, $200 towards the cause, and that would make your bottom line go
Oh,
right there.
It's tremendous. It's tremendous. I mean, if you think about it, we've got 65 tables that'll be reserved.
Right.
And if just every table in there said they would do $1,000, we're in a good spot.
Yeah, right. And that's something we need to push more and more. You know, when you invite tables, especially, you know, because most of your corporations are the ones that are the sort of the backbone of it.
Correct.
But the people they invite, you know, they have very minimal. They may have to go get a dress.
We always have to get a new
gotta get a
dress.
dress.
Always.
In fact, we should get some of the boutiques to thank us for all the money.
That's exactly right.
Because they get hit up. Now, what is the dress code? I've been asked that 1,000
I know. Everybody goes, oh my gosh, what is the dress code?
Yeah.
Well, we kind of touched on the fact that it is getting hot out there in South Mississippi right now. So part of ours is that it is a resort casual event. I mean, obviously we'd like people to not be in, you know, shorts and things, but we also want everybody to be comfortable, because at the end of the day, it's more important for you to be there for the mission than trying to outdress the next one.
But more a cocktail than it would be a long formal.
Right. Now, and we have some people that go all out. They're in
it's
the
a
long
mixture.
formals. So Missy and I will not be in long
We
formals.
will not be in long
Neither will I.
Why not? You could be in a long formal.
In fact, I really enjoyed it. I had a nice pair of jeans last year with a Maceo shirt that I wore on it. I mean, and tennis shoes. But yeah, I like that. I like that sort of a casual, dressy casual type look. Now we're going to take a short commercial break. I want to come back because I know the Beau Rivage has been very committed from a corporate level and towards this, and I want to talk a little bit about that and some of the other things that the Beau Rivage does, because the Beau Rivage does do, you know, obviously a lot in our community. We're talking about Make-A-Wish, so y'all don't touch that remote. We're going to be right back.
The 21st annual Martini Shakedown benefiting Make-A-Wish Mississippi is coming up July 26th at Beau Rivage Resort and Casino. Come experience magnificent martinis, delectable cuisine, silent and live auctions, plus music from Voodoo Gumbo. Get your tickets in advance at onecause/shakedown and join us for Night to Remember, helping make wishes come true for Mississippi kids with critical illnesses. For more details, call 228-575-8691. Must be at least 21 to attend.
Welcome back, everyone. We're talking about Make-A-Wish, and we got Missy Dombrowski and Shelly Moses. And ladies, you know, we're talking about night of things to expect. And Missy, I think you'd brought up, you know, some things, but Beau Rivage is very committed to our community, always has been. And I personally want to thank you by us allowing us to have our, you know, part of our fashion show over there. That was a breakthrough for us, you know, and a lot of people, you know, being IP, and IP has given us millions of dollars, but they didn't even blink. I mean, Vince and Kim were both like, absolutely. And now, you know, I've even had some people from Beau Rivage calling me about the fashion show, you know, and that's what you want. You want the gaming industry to work together, and, you know, that's a powerful synergy right there. And I think that that's sort of unique. I don't know if that happens at all places.
I don't know if it happens either, but I'm fortunate enough that, you know, with the Beau and my counterparts at the other casinos, we do all come together for all the different causes and charity organizations and events. And you know, speaking of the model mixer, yes, we'll have that again this year in September at MGM Golf.
I think I want to give the date. I think it's the 18th because it's a week before the event.
You're right. It is the 18th.
But that's always, you know, again, later in the summer fun, but you have these bigger events that I think they're both at, I think So-So's at the Beau Rivage.
Yes, and it's in September.
September, right? After. So I always mark those ones, and I try to go to, generally all the bigger type events. You do a lot with Junior Auxiliary, I think.
We do. We just had the Biloxi Ocean Springs this past Saturday night at the Bow, and I believe Gulfport Junior Auxiliary will be later in the year.
And I will say, I can look back 25 years ago, and I remember the very first person to give was Bruce Norris. Very first person. I got a little thing, and I didn't even know what the Beau Rivage was. I opened it up, and he said, "I'm going to give you first place prizes." And I said, "Well, okay." And from there, the Beau Rivage every year, because back then we were not a known entity,
right.
And helped a small thought get off the ground. And now that you're a little bigger, you try to work together with some of those others. I know you've seen it change a lot over the last.
Wow, yes, over the last 20
years.
plus years.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the nonprofits that are in our community are doing all fantastic jobs, but it's not necessarily the ones that you would think of that are the big national chains, so to speak.
Right.
And a lot of people think that we are a big national organization, but everything we do is done centrally, locally, and through our own state. We're not funded through our national organization at all.
Right, and I always like to say, keep your money here locally if you can. I think that's very important to address those needs. But I'm also one that if I get a phone call, it's not always about them giving to us. Give to somebody,
right?
And just promote philanthropy. And you've got a great giving community down here. I just got back from Washington, D.C., and people could not understand why we even talk to people down here, because nobody talked to each other.
Right.
I said, like, if you're jogging, I'd be like, "Good morning," and like, like it was something.
It was a stranger coming to attack me, right.
But, that's the type of community that we do have. Now, you were saying that you're expecting pretty good sized crowd.
We are. We are expecting a normal sellout like we normally do. But one thing that we did last year for the first time is we were able to grant a wish live for one of the kids that's in our wish pipeline, and we're very pleased to be able to do that again this year as well. So everybody that's going to be in attendance will be able to see it, feel it, touch it, and really see what the true power of a wish is, and see. We can't say if it's a boy or a girl because they don't know. The parents are keeping it a secret.
Right.
But this child, they will be able to learn that their wish is being granted. So that's pretty cool.
That's very cool. And the other point we definitely need to stress is that you don't have to wait for an event to give. You don't have to, wait till next year.
No, not
you can give any time.
Not at all. And the money does stay locally. It doesn't go off somewhere. It stays locally. So, if you feel like you can't participate in this event, or we do have a golf tournament that's coming up that will be at the Fallen Oak. If you're interested in that, you can always reach out to us at our office.
When is that in, like?
September 8th.
Okay, so that's in September, right after Labor Day.
It's the Monday
Yes.
after Monday.
Next Monday. Okay. Getting a little cooler. I was like, thinking, man.
Oh, I know. We were really glad that we moved it back a little bit this time. But,
Right.
But no, there's always ways that you can give and help, and even if it's not financially through, a cash donation or anything, giving of your time is clutch to all of us in nonprofit.
Right. That's what people need to understand, that, that your time and the volunteerism goes a long way to helping, again, free up people like myself. That's what we do. We go out and it's a nice thought to think that there's a lot of people raising money, but everybody knows that 99% of it is on the director to close that deal. But all you got to do is give me the name, and I'll do the rest. Now, it's going to be a cocktail dress or casual, dressy casual. 7 to 11.
7 to 11.
And I guess you could stay at the Beau Rivage.
Stay at the Beau Rivage, yes.
I remember staying there for 2 days, and I thought I was in seventh heaven. Took a picture of the sunset, ate a couple restaurants.
That's what we like to hear. That's what we like to hear.
I went and bought me. I even got on my little Maceo belt. That I got. The Beau Rivage just got just a little bit of everything. It's like a little city inside of
one-stop shopping for sure.
It really is. It's an amazing place, and I don't know that we have anything that even remotely comes close to having all those amenities in one place. And then you got a theater over there, so there's, I'm sure that season is pretty strong.
It is. We just finished a Grease show, and we've got a lot of headliners, good headliners coming up, through the rest of the year. So.
Okay, if somebody wants some more information, how are they going to?
They can contact us at the office, which is 228-575-8691, or the actual site to purchase tickets or sponsorships that are still available is One Cause, and it's kind of crazy how they spell it, but it's ONECAU.SE/Shakedown. I know, I didn't come up
We
with
said
it.
the same thing.
I can't think that far, but yeah, okay, so they
Just
can.
call us.
That's
Just
right.
call us.
That'd be the
Y'all are located
easiest
still in
way.
the 99 Profit
We
Center.
are. We moved into a larger office right down the hallway, but we are still at the 99 Profit Center, which is a phenomenal place for all of us.
It was a great idea, and it's really come to fruition where it's a one-stop.
It's great.
You can see just about everybody. Well, ladies, I appreciate y'all coming on. Wasn't that bad?
Absolutely. Always a pleasure having coming on.
Always.
And,
See.
we look forward to seeing y'all July 26th,
July the 26th.
7 o'clock, Beau
7
Rivage.
o'clock.
Beau Rivage.
All right, thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Todd.
you.
And we appreciate everybody's support of the Baco Foundation of South Mississippi. Until next time, this is Todd Trenchard saying so long, and may God bless.
The 21st annual Martini Shakedown benefiting Make-A-Wish Mississippi is coming up July 26th at Beau Rivage Resort and Casino. Come experience magnificent martinis, delectable cuisine, silent and live auctions, plus music from Voodoo Gumbo. Get your tickets in advance at onecause/shakedown and join us for Night to Remember, helping make wishes come true for Mississippi kids with critical illnesses. For more details, call 228-575-8691. Must be at least 21 to attend.